Hi, welcome back to How to Clinical Research. I'm Eric Lambert, and today we're going to talk about how to start your career in clinical research. And this is going to come from two perspectives. One, being inside the U.S. as a U.S. citizen and starting your career here. And then two, what in a scenario where you're coming from a different country, trying to get a job in clinical research here in the U.S. So with that said, let's start generally speaking, how to just start your career in clinical research. There's three levels to this industry. Okay, there's the site level, which is where you work with doctors and you work with patients and you conduct clinical trials. Okay, the second level, which is kind of like a mediary level, is the CRO level. This is kind of where monitors are, and they come monitor the sites and they do other things for sponsors. Then the third level are the sponsors. So sponsors are the companies that create the trials, and they pay for them and they choose the sites and all of that. Okay, so where I recommend to start is on the site level. This is because from my own experience, this has the least amount of barriers for entry. Okay, it's the easiest to get into. It has the least amount of requirements and expectations of you as someone who's just starting out in the industry. So what does that mean? It means that you need to find doctors that are doing clinical research and find companies that are doing clinical research. So this could be hospitals, this could be private medical centers, these could be research dedicated facilities that conduct clinical trials. So you're going to have to look these up nearby, locally, wherever you live, and find companies that are doing this. Doesn't matter if you're in the US or in a different country, this is where you need to start. So from my own experience, I knew a physician that I was shadowing over a period of time while I was in college, and he eventually started to get involved in clinical research. And because he knew me and because I had a good relationship with him, he invited me to be a part of his team. So that started me off on the site level, and that carried me all the way through my career. And now I'm on the sponsor level at a biotech firm. So with that said, I got in by using my network, my personal relationships that I developed to, start my career in clinical research. Now that is one way. Another way, of course, is if you don't know anyone like that and you haven't developed relationships like that, is to just apply to jobs that these companies have posted. Okay, so the jobs you want to aim for would be a clinical research coordinator or a research assistant. Okay, and don't focus too much on the pay at first because you're just starting out. You're not going to have a really high paying job. If you applied for these positions, try finding a small startup company, because these small startup companies are more likely to take on more green people with less experience, because they're willing to put in the work to train them so that they can help them kind of get started and get the business going. But of course that might require less pay as well, but it's a great way to get in. The larger companies, they're going to have the higher paying jobs, but they're also going to have the greater requirements for you. So if you have no experience, that may not be realistic. You're not going to land like a $60,000 job as your first job. So be realistic with your expectations and be smart with how you approach this. Now, if you have zero luck and you just cannot get a job, you've been applying, you found startups and it's just not working, another great way is to volunteer. Go to the small startup companies or even the big research companies and volunteer your time so that they can train you and give you the experience that you need to then take that and go apply to paying jobs on the site level. So that would be my ways where you need to start. Whether if you're in the US or you're in a different country, start on the site level, get in by using either your network, applying, or volunteering. So once you have that experience, you can then pursue your career and keep excelling into the sponsor realm or whichever part of the industry you want to get into. But now let's talk about coming into the US from a different country. You're going to need to have this experience already. It's going to be very hard and maybe even impossible to get a job in the US with zero experience coming from a different country. Okay, so be sure to already have a strong foundation of experience when coming here. Now, of course, you're going to need a work visa. And you have to think to yourself, why would a company go through the trouble of hiring someone from a different country and doing whatever paperwork needs to be done to, get them over here when they could just hire someone locally? And what I believe, this is my own personal opinion, what I believe is the answer to that is you need to make yourself stand out. So coming from a different country, you're going to need to have probably unique experience in the industry, something that sets you apart from the rest, and make yourself just kind of really be that kind of special candidate that they get, so that the employer will be more inclined to go through the process of getting you over here. Now, the other part of it is that getting a work visa, of course, isn't simple. There's lots of steps to apply and to get approved. But to make the employer feel comfortable and confident in hiring you, I believe you're going to need to do a couple things. One, understand the entire process for getting that work visa. But two, realize that the work visa is temporary. It doesn't mean you can stay here forever. So that means for the employer, they're going to have a fear of hiring you and then you having to go back to your country. So what you're going to need to do is find out how to get a green card so that you can be a permanent resident in the U.S. legally. And so that the employer can then not have the worry of you having to leave and go back to your country. So, with that said, have a plan to not only get a clear-cut plan, to not only get the work visa, but also how you're going to leverage that work visa into getting your green card. Now, I found a great resource for this on YouTube that I used to help me even kind of research this topic. So I'm going to link that YouTube channel down below. This is kind of what this guy, what he focuses on. He focuses on helping people come into the country either by being a student or getting a job, and then how you can get those visas, whether it's like a student visa or a work visa, into getting a green card. Okay, so if you have a clear-cut plan to get your work visa, get your green card, and you present that to the U.S. employer along with your unique special experience that sets you apart, I believe that that's going to set up a great scenario for you to be a strong candidate for the U.S. employer to say, you know what, I'm going to give this person a chance. I like them. They bring in some great, unique experience that I think is going to help out our company, help out our team, and I want them here. And I don't mind going through the trouble of filling out whatever extra paperwork that they're going to need to fill out to get you over here into the U.S. So you have to think about it in that way. And keep in mind, this is probably not easy. It's easier said than done, but it's not impossible. And I think with a proper strategy and intelligence in how you go about doing this, I believe that you can make it possible. So I hope this helps. If anyone has experience in getting a job in the U.S., from a different country, please comment down below. I'd actually love to talk to you, maybe even bring you onto the channel. So please be sure to comment down below. Now, I do have some exciting news. I just filed my LLC paperwork for my consulting company. Okay, so the name of the company is Lombear Industries. And this is for consulting with physicians or other business owners, entrepreneurs who have a clinical research center or want to start a clinical research center. And through this consulting services, I can help with anything related to that process of starting these companies, making them successful, generating profits, improving profits, marketing, patient referrals, etc. So if you're interested in these services, please be sure to send me an email. I'll list my email down below here. And with that said, thank you so much for the support. We're at over 100 subscribers now, so that's fantastic. And be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hit that bell button so you're notified as soon as my new videos are released. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.